I feel like quitting programming. This is just too hard. I'm not smart enough. All right, guys, so if you ever felt this way, it's normal. But let me tell you, you're gonna have a lot of haters, especially if this is something you're doing as a second career choice, meaning you're a little bit older, you may be in your 30s, late 30s. A lot of people, especially in your family, are gonna be like, what are you doing? You know, you're leaving your safe job to pursue something that you might not even be able to get a job. You don't have a college degree. You don't have like these requirements. You know, forget the haters, and here's the fact. The fact is, if you're switching careers, it's probably because you hate your job and you're probably not happy with the income that you're making. It's not the case all the time, but most of the time. So let me tell you this. Are you going to be happy spending another 5 to 10 years working at the same job and possibly getting fired? Or are you going to learn a new skill that's going to help you to break into a field that you really enjoy and has a pretty good upside potential, which will allow you to support your family and yourself? So I basically, don't think you should stay in a dead-end job. You should keep your job, but in the meantime, continue to study and don't give up. Now, the fact is, programming is hard and there's a lot of competition. So you really have to go out of your way to stand out. So not only do you have to know your stuff, you also have to have a great portfolio and you have to have great communication skills. I probably will put communication skills above everything else, because at the end of the day, when you're going to get your first job, it's probably not going to be because of your resume or because of your portfolio. Because honestly, a lot of these recruiters or people that are doing interviews, they're getting a lot of applications and they're getting a lot of great portfolios, and they're getting some people who actually have degrees in computer science. So if you don't have a computer science degree, it's going to be tough. So before I continue any farther, because this will help this example, is let me tell you how I got my first job. So my first job, and I still have it, it's a 100% remote job. I love it. I want to keep doing it, even though it's not exactly what I want to do. I'm actually working with WordPress and PHP. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But this is how I got the job. I had zero experience. I didn't even have this is how crazy it is. I didn't have a portfolio at the time. So what I used to do, I used to tell people that I'm studying web development, I'm studying programming, and if they need any help on their websites or personal projects, to reach out to me and let me know. And I remember I told this to everybody. Everybody basically knew that I was going to school, and when I said school, studying at home, online classes on my own, learning to code. And then, 3 months later, I had this woman come up to me and she's like, Paul, I remember you mentioned that you do web design. How would you like to come on and work on a project? So I met with her and talked to her. And by the way, that meeting didn't go anywhere because she didn't respond to me. So here's the example of why you need to have great communication skills, because you have to be able to follow up. I emailed her, I texted her, not overdoing it and being overbearing, but I reminded her that I'm still considering. And then a month and a half went by. She's like, oh yeah, that project finally came through. Why don't you help us out? And she said, you know what, because you're just starting out, why don't you meet with a developer and kind of see what you can do. So I went to an interview and met with the developer. Again, after I met with him, it was silent. It's not that because he didn't want to talk to me, but it's because he was busy. He had a lot of stuff. So I follow up with him. And that job started as an internship first, where, I didn't even get paid. I just kind of talked to them, learn more about what they're doing, helped with like a couple of little things, but really not much. And then eventually, after following up, being on that person's radar, and after a while, they finally offered me a position which is 100% remote, working part-time, which I'm still doing to this day. And the point I'm trying to make here, if I didn't get out there and talk to as many people as I can, I probably would have never gotten that job. And she hired me based on my communications alone. And of course, I had to show that I knew what I was doing, but she never asked me about my portfolio. Now, that's a rare case. And the reason it worked is because I knew that person outside of just... And the reason that worked, because that person is someone I was acquainted with. We saw each other on a regular basis in the same coffee shop that we went to. So the point is, when people are familiar with you, it's much easier for them to bring you on or refer you to somebody else. So outside of learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all the basic stuff that of course you should be learning, I suggest that you start getting out there and working your social circle and making connections. So I just recently moved to Austin, Texas, and the reason why I moved to Austin, Texas is not because it's awesome, because it is, but because there's more opportunities to go to meetups, to meet other people in the same, social circle, social network, to make connections. So my goal is not just to get a next job via the fact that I have an amazing portfolio and I know what I'm doing. Of course you need those, but it's also because I'm getting out there and making connections with people, and hopefully I will befriend someone or find someone who will be like, hey, you're exactly what we were looking for on this project. Would you love to come in and help us out? So I can't stress that enough. The ability to be able to communicate and the ability to be able to kind of meet people and introduce yourself, tell what you're doing, tell what you're looking for, so they know. Because the fact is that if you don't put it out there, no one will know. Anyway, besides that, the most important thing I want to tell you, it is going to be a discouraging uphill battle. So learning to code, it's like riding an escalator, backwards. So if you stop moving, you're going to end up back on the bottom. So not only do you have to do the minimum amount of work to stay in the middle, you actually work a little bit harder in order to get ahead. So keep it up, don't give up. I have my faith in you. If I could do it, so can you. Let me tell you, I know this channel's called Coding After 30, but soon it's going to be called Coding After 40 because I just turned 39 and I'm still not giving up. A lot of people told me, just quit. What are you going to do? So much discouragement, so much negativity. And you know what? I said, screw you. I don't care. I much rather pursue what I want and be able to do what I want, even if I fail. But I refuse to stay at a job that I'm not happy with. I refuse to do things that I don't find exciting. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to quit. So sure, it's going to be hard. It might even seem impossible, but there's ways to meander around all these obstacles and to be able to get your foot in the door. It requires perseverance, it requires hard work. So I just wanted to share a little bit about my story. I know this video was more of like all my videos, more like a talking head video where I just babble on, but I hope you found some motivation to know that it's just hard. A lot of channels, they are feel-good channels that make you feel good about what you're doing, but the fact is, there's a lot of competition, it's a lot of hard work, and that's the good news, because if you become good at what you're doing, it's going to be very rewarding. So with that being said, subscribe to the channel if you like some of this content, and let me know in the comments below what I could do better. If you could hate, you could dislike the video, just let me know why you hate it so my next video could be a little bit better. And with that being said, happy coding, and I'll see you guys next time.